Well, another video and another expose of the mainstream media bias, this time Sky News. I'm going to give you the most shocking and surprising story that Sky News is biased. And this one is very, very specific because the job of the mainstream media, they claim that they are just impartial and they try to scrutinize both sides. And the job of the opposition, the Labour Party, is, in terms of constitutionally, is to hold the government to account and wait for the election to campaign against the party, the Tory party, and get rid of them. That's it. The job of the opposition is not to plot during the term that we have. The job of the Sky News is not to plot to bring down the Prime Minister during his term. This is why they don't understand. Watch this.
Has Labour missed its shot at the Prime Minister?
Look, the Prime Minister could end this circus today. He could just be honest about what has been going on.
You and I know he's not going to. You and I know he's not going to. Your job as opposition, as the way you describe it, is to get rid of him. Have you missed the opportunity? Did you fumble the ball?
Trevor Phillips, listen, Andy, that is not supposed to be the job of the Labour Party in the House of Commons. Constitutionally, it's not supposed to be to plot with the mainstream media to go on there to say that, well, we should really get rid of Boris Johnson from Downing Street now. If anyone has the right, again, in terms of the rules that we have in Parliament, to get rid of the leader, is the Tory party itself. We have 1922 committee. They could remove the leader and they could replace him with a new person. But if you want to get rid of him, you have to wait for the next election, campaign against him, and then defeat the Tories. Right now, all you can do is scrutinise, hold them to account, and provide some alternative policies. The one thing that the Labour Party is not really doing, the one thing that they're lacking, is actual, proper, consistent leadership. And Starmer, who's coming out with flip-flopping and everything else, if Trevor Phillips really cared about impartiality, he would really show Starmer and Lisa Andy this clip of the Labour leader, the dear leader, that only quite recently, when was it, about 2 years ago, he was saying this about Brexit.
I'm really pleased that whatever outcome the next Prime Minister puts before us, whether that's a deal of some sort or no deal, we've agreed that it must be subject to another referendum. And in that referendum, Remain must be an option, and Labour will be campaigning for Remain. That's a really important point of principle. I'm equally pleased that we've reached consensus on this. The trade unions are behind it, the shadow cabinet's behind it, and I know it's what our members want.
It's a really important point of principle, he says. That's what he believed in. He said that he wants to have a second referendum. And the moment that he read the room and he realized that Brexit is getting done, again, imperfectly, not only he changed his tune, he completely pretended that never happened. That policy was never on the table. Are you kidding me? Again, politicians have a right to make U-turns, change their minds. And actually, I encourage it when their policy is idiotic. But at least be honest that you're not always a politician of conviction. That's the lie that he's telling us. That's the lie that the Labour Party and Labour leadership are giving us. Both sides are as bad as each other, but let's focus on these sides. We don't want them as the alternative government right now, because if they can't even be honest to themselves, to their own side, that's where we find it difficult to even believe anything that comes out of Starmer's mouth. Even when, for example, earlier today or last week, he stood up against the Prime Minister, to talk about cake and suitcase, even though he himself was drinking beer with his colleagues during the lockdown. I can't really believe him. Can you? No, let me know in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel. We're going to come back with more updates. I'm Tousi, and we are the media. Trevor Phillips.